Hello students. So last class we learnt about the capital subscription. So let us continue from there. There are two ways of subscribing or uh, selling the capital. One is the company directly selling it. The other one is through a stock exchange. They have to do the formalities required for the uh, issuing of the shares, and then they have to also file a copy with the ROC, that is Registrar of Companies. So prospectus has to be filed with ROC, and rest of the name list of the shareholders and everything has to be made ready slowly. And I also explained about the stages in the issuing of shares. That is firstly application. So people can apply for the shares and buy the shares first. They need not pay full amount. They can pay only the amount which is asked by the company to be paid. And then after application, the company is going to allot the shares for the applications, the number of applications they have got. Once they allot the shares, they will also get some money for the allotment. And one more rule of the allotment is they have to make allotment within 120 days from the issue of prospectus. And there is a concept called minimum subscription. Minimum subscription means the minimum number of shares that has to be bought, okay, by the shareholder, so that the company can actually go on with the procedure. Okay, it is something like you start a new business and you see for 1 month. If you get, or if you are getting some customers or something, some improvement is there, you will think, okay, I can continue the business, right? Similarly, when they sell shares, they will give the date, they'll give the opening date of the shares. Now within that first 5 days or first 3 days or something, within that they'll have to have at least, they'll have to have at least 2% of the shares being purchased. Okay, in that case sometimes it is 5%, sometimes it is 2%. When they have at least that minimum subscription, at least if 5 shareholders buy the shares, at least if uh, 15 shareholders buy the shares, it depends on the company. Okay, the number can vary, but the minimum number of shareholders has to buy the shares. Only then they can continue with the issual of the shares. So that is the allotment stage. Now after allotment stage, any amount which is left over, they can call it in intervals. Whenever company want, they can call it in intervals. Okay, so that is first call, second call, and final call for the shares. Next, moving further, we have to note that public company having a share capital but not issuing prospectus. Okay, sometimes they don't issue prospectus, and for all those times they can just file a statement in lieu of prospectus. Now statement in lieu of prospectus is a summary which will say me how much I have raised as the share capital. Okay, and this has to be filed with ROC at least 3 days before me giving shares to outsiders. Okay, so but when the public company is actually giving it to the general public, they always go with the prospectus. That way it is very easy for them to maintain the accounts. Then let us learn few duties of company secretary before incorporation. Now company secretary is a professional who actually involves into the company from A to Z, from starting of the company, from registering the company till the closure of the company. They require the help of professionals like CA and CS. So few duties of company secretary are, they will help them in understanding the business proposal better, which type of business they have to do, all that they will be able to explain it to the promoter. And promoter also can take help of chartered accountant to get the project reports ready in financial matters. Okay, even though you roughly put the amounts, even though you wanted to get the project report ready, it has to be in a realistic way. You cannot just put some crores of rupees, because nobody will give you so much amount as a startup. If it's a new company, they will also think twice before investing. Why? Because you're a new company, we do not know how, what sort of a company it is, how you are as a person, nobody knows. So they will take time. Once you gain trust in the market or between the consumers, then you can move on and get the amount from them. And then company secretary will attend all the basic meetings, any discussions, all the meetings will have, the company secretary will have to attend and have to make note of whatever happened in the meeting. Now once they know whatever happened in the meeting, they will be able to summarize that and help the promoter or the owner to understand and move further for the business. And all the necessary procedures that has to be done with the registrar of companies will be taken care by company secretary. Okay, the legal drafting, getting permissions, getting the registration done, all the procedures will be done by the CS, and the company will be there as a support. Okay, especially in drafting, company secretaries are experts in drafting anything. They can draft memorandum of association, article of association, and if it comes to understanding any rules, so understanding of rules, there will be lot of professional jargons. Okay, this particular jargons or particular words being used for the scenario. It might be not only English words, but it might be words taken from other languages. So in such case, company secretary is an expert who will be able to break it down for the board of directors, to make them understand what is that. So that is also part of CS job. Then to collect the certificate of registration from registrar, and also to send notice uh, about the registered office. If they want to have a proper registered office and they don't have a uh, actual registered office, they can send that notice to the registrar and get the registered office address being written in the books. Now in this scenario, what will happen is, suppose suddenly I don't have the registered office address with me, because I have not decided. So what I can do is, I can now just leave it blank, and within 30 days I can fill that up later. So that is, I have 30 days time here to do it. Then we will get certificate of incorporation of company. We have already seen a copy of certificate of incorporation of a company, where they will give you the place where it is incorporated and the date of the incorporation. That is very, very important. Now coming to the major document of the company, that is MOA and AOA. Now MOA and AOA are very, very important documents. Now, these important documents are those which has to be, these important documents are very important in the company, because they are like the charter, or they are like the rules that the company has written for itself. So firstly, MOA, we will understand MOA directly by seeing the practical MOA. Okay, again coming to this Infosys, where we saw the incorporation certificate. Now if you see here, this is the MOA of the company. Now let us let us go through the MOA contents. Now this will also give you the contents of MOA here. So this MOA is the charter, or these are the important documents of the company. So the first point of MOA here is this name clause. Okay, the first one is the name clause. Name clause gives us the uh, company's name. The company's full name will be given in the name clause. Coming to register clause, or this is called situation clause. In the situation clause, we will be writing in which state the company is situated. So what is the first clause? First is name clause, where the company is present, and second comes the situation clause, where which state the company is present. This is the name and situation. Now next comes the object clause. Now in object clause, what will happen? We will divide the objects of the company. Now the division is very simple. Firstly main objects, then secondary objects, then ancillary objects. Sometimes three division, sometimes two division. Main objects means they will be writing what business the company is going to do. All that will be the main objects. Now if you see here, to establish, maintain, conduct, provide, procure and make available service of every kind, including commercial, statistical, financial. So they've given all the services. Okay, this is a service oriented company and they want to do all the services. Then to carry on the business as importer, exporter, buyer, lessor, seller. So they deal with electronic, so they also deal with electronic components and software in Infosys. So these are the main objects. They want to give all of these services to the people. So that is the main object. What is the current business that I want to do? That will be the main object. But what is the secondary business? What all other business ideas I have? If I want to help the people, if I want to make sure that company will be able to help employees, they will try to give them lot of other benefits. All that you can put it under secondary objects. Okay, and sometimes the company will also have tertiary objects. If you see here, there are 27 secondary objects. And when you see the next, that is other objects, here they are trying to say, see, we also want to expand our business in lot and lot of places. Okay, so that is other objects. Now coming to the next clause, that is liability clause. Now, liability clause is very important because this is what defines the company. Now, companies have limited liability. So, the liability of the members are limited. That is all is enough. This is a liability clause. The liability of the members are limited. And then we have authorized capital. So, this is the capital clause. Now, in this capital clause, there are two clauses. One is capital clause, one is subscription clause. Capital clause means what is the authorized share capital. Now, what is authorized share capital? The maximum capital that I can issue throughout the life of the company. The company might be there for 100 years, 200 years, 150, 250 years. What is the amount that I will be issuing as shares throughout the life of the company? That is called as authorized share capital. Okay, now if you see in this particular company, the authorized share capital is 2400 crores. Okay, they have, before the authorized capital was 1200 crores, later they changed it to 2400 crores. So which means there is the option of increasing the authorized capital. Okay, now Infosys can issue 2400 crores throughout the lifetime of the company. Now how will they issue? They will issue it by equity shares. How many equity shares can they issue? 480 crore equity shares at 5 rupees. Okay, that is the authorized capital. Now when it comes to subscription means how much have they actually issued? That will be the subscription. So here they have also explained about what type of share they are giving and how they are giving. Okay, so that is the share capital. So we saw name clause, we saw situation clause, we saw objective clause, then we saw liability clause, then capital clause and subscription clause. Okay, so these are few of the very important clause. Another, see, this is continuation of subscription. How many people have bought the shares? So if you see here, they have given the name, address, designation of the person and how many shares they have bought. Okay, now when I start a company, if I see 5 people or 10 people buying shares, I will write their names here for the subscription clause. Okay, so this is subscription clause. I hope everybody have understood about the MOA. Now let us go through the points under MOA. It is main and compulsory document, and one copy of MOA should be with the ROC. ROC has to have a copy of MOA. That is very compulsory, very much compulsory. Now MOA will lay down objects, scope, powers and area of operation of the company. So they will say you what is the width of the company operation, what is the depth of the company operations. It is very, very carefully drafted. Simply, we will not give whatever comes to mind. It has to be carefully drafted because it can't be amended easily. Amended means changed. It can't be changed easily. So it is very difficult to change MOA and AOA. So that AOA somehow you can change, but changing MOA is very difficult because it has to get permission from the company. It has to get permission from central government and all that. So there is a lot of procedures that will be followed. So it has to be drafted very carefully. Okay, and let us see the clauses of MOA. Now as we saw, first clause is name clause, where it will give the full name of the company. Next is situation clause. We will see where the company is situated or which state it is there. Then object clause. What is the intention of the company? What it wants to do? And we saw this objective clause in 2 or 3 ways. Then liability clause. We saw if it is a limited liability or unlimited liability, that has to be given. Then capital clause, the 2400 crore. Okay, that is the total capital of the company, that is capital clause. Then subscription or associate clause is the details of people who have bought the shares when I started the company. Not every time. First time when I started the company, I will give the subscription clause. So this is memorandum of understanding. Okay, this is the first document which is very important. Now, moving on, I hope everybody have understood MOA. Now, moving on is the AOA. Now, AOA is the other document which is a secondary important document, and this document is the rules and regulations that the company is laying down for itself. For company to follow, it will write down all the rules and regulations, because men may come, men may go, but the company goes forever. So there can be change in authority, there can be change in management, but these rules will not change. They have to follow AOA, whatever rules have been written. Okay, so rules regarding everything will be covered in the AOA. So that is why AOA have many points to be considered. If at all they don't want to follow AOA, then company limited by shares can adopt table A. Now table A is just a format which is given in the Companies Act. So if they follow this table A, then also it is okay according to the Company Act. It is just like a guidelines. Now you have syllabus for your subject. They will say you what sort of questions will come in the blueprint. All that are like AOA. It is guiding you to study for the exam. Okay, now let us understand few of the contents of AOA. First, company name. Like how we have name clause, here we'll have company name being written in full. Company name in full. Now, if it is Infosys Technologies Limited, full name should be written. If it is private limited, that name should be written. And the name cannot have government names, or you cannot add church and all that to the names. You should not confuse the public with the name. Okay, so the name has to be carefully chosen and no offensive words used in the name. Okay, so first one is the name of the company. Then, purpose of the company. For what? Like objects clause, what is the purpose of the company? Now you can again divide this purpose into 3 4 parts, and you can explain it to the people. See, these all are the purpose of the company. We are trying to do all of this. So that is purpose. This is very similar to the objects clause. Then share capital. This is a repeated point from the MOA. So you have to, the company has to say what is the authorized capital, how many equity shares they will issue, how many preference shares they will issue. If they are issuing debentures, then they have to talk about debentures also. So that will be share capital clause. Everything in detail they have to give. Then organization of the company, they have to talk about who are the directors, who started. Okay, first, how many directors should be there in the company? Now starting, there might be 2 directors, but according to AOA we want 5 directors. Okay, so they have to say, see, at any point of time, make sure there are 5 directors in the company. How the directors should be working in the company, and what are the rules that the director should follow, what is the maximum salary you can give. Everything can be written. Which director, I mean, which type of director should take care of which business. Every detailing can be written in the AOA. And who should be appointed as a auditor, how many auditors should be there, how many legal advisors should be there, what is the system that we have to follow in the company, how many departments are we planning to do it. Okay, so all that can be detailedly explained. And how the employees have to be treated, and what are the rules employees has to follow, that also can be added to AOA. Because if AOA does not allow you to give bonus and all in the company, they will not give bonus, or they'll not give certain allowances. Okay, if the company decides, see, no, whoever works here, they will not get travel allowance, it means they will not get. So those are rules put in AOA for the company to follow. And finally, we have shareholders meeting. This comprises of maximum points under AOA. Now shareholders meeting means how to issue shares, when to issue shares, what is the procedure to issue shares, and how, when we do meeting, what is the procedure of doing meeting, who all should be there in the meeting, how many of them minimum should be there in the meeting. Okay, and before doing the meeting, we should send them information. So how to send the information, every detail has to be clearly given in the AOA. So this is the secondary important document to be used and to be understood by the people. And AOA is the document which again has to be filed with the ROC. Okay, so this is MOA and AOA. So we'll stop here and we'll continue in the next class.